find something you love and build it. Build it and make it duplicatable, predictable, and consistent. And then have that fund your ideal lifestyle. Because I feel like we don't all get into business to run a business. I think business is a means to an end. So we need to find out what that end is and then work our ass off, and then we get there.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Maxwell show, the pod, the show, whatever you want to call it. It's dope, and you know I continue to bring dope guests. And today is no different. You know, actually, I met this person on a Zoom call and realized this person was way smarter than me. I said, I got to bring you on the show because I got to tell my audience about the things that I've seen you do. So welcome to the show, the pod, no other than Michelle from South Florida. How are you?
I'm great.
You sure?
I'm perfect. I'm here.
I'm here, ain't I?
Yeah.
Yo, check this out. So you and I jumped on a Zoom call, and then we started talking about some things. You showed me a lot of your system and processes. I was like, wait, because I know in the beginning when I started my business, one of my downfalls, I talk about this on stage a lot, is I didn't document my process in order to, I didn't start with the end in mind when I first started my business. I didn't document the things that I need to do. But before we get to that point of where you are, because I think you're a genius at that thing, let's kind of back up a little bit. Tell us kind of your start, or what were you doing prior to getting into wholesaling and running a operation down in South Florida?
Well, I mean, I was working like everybody else, 9 to 5. I had a telemarketing job. So I was doing that for about 5 years, and I was thought, this is good. I got a good paying job. Everybody said, I think I was making $15 an hour, and everybody I knew was making 10. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing better than everybody else. Yeah. This is good. But the corporate culture was just not for me. I watched people get laid off, been there 10 years, just pat on the back, see ya. Dang. Over something crazy, like, you said the wrong thing, went the wrong time, they were laying off people. So I'm like, okay, something's going on here. I need to start to make a backup plan. So I just started to kind of like feel my way around and say, like, what can I do? I know that I wanted to build something. I just didn't know what it was. So I stumbled across an ad in a magazine. They was offering a free real estate conference. So I was like, okay, let me go over there and see what they're talking about. And obviously it was a pitch for a bigger plan and a membership.
It's crazy how many people found out about like real estate and wholesale through those hotel traveling pitch companies.
Exactly. It was one of those. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and see what it's about. They mentioned wholesaling, just mentioned it. I was like, wholesaling? And they're saying you don't need no money. You can, find deals for investors.
It sounds like me.
I'm like, okay, over here. I don't have no money. So they offered a pitch for a program. And I didn't have the money to take the program. It was just it was too expensive for me.
And they were telling you to get your credit cards out. We'll show you how to call and raise it. My friend Christina did that.
Yeah.
90,000.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I didn't have it. I didn't have the credit.
Yeah,
I didn't even have the credit.
Was not an option.
It wasn't an option for me. So I'm like, okay, they said wholesaling. So let me go online to see what this wholesaling thing is about. So I typed it in and the whole world opened up. That's when, I run into people like yourself, people like the first guy that I followed on YouTube, his name was Ty, the flip man.
Yeah. From I think he's from Alabama.
Yeah. So I saw him and he was talking about, you can lock up deals for $10 deposit. I'm like, okay,
I got $10.
I got $10. Let's go ahead. Let's see what this is about. So I went ahead and, he said, find buyers, find deals. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start in my neighborhood. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, okay, let's see some people over there flipping a house.
This was in South Florida area?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long ago was this?
2009.
Okay, so crash had happened.
Yeah. So it was after the crash. So everybody thought I was a little crazy because I was getting into real estate when real estate was bad. But I'm like,
but you didn't know that much about it to even know. I mean, you knew it was bad, but you didn't know what that really meant.
I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant. I had nothing to compare it to.
Correct.
So long story short, I found a deal like a couple blocks from my house. Older couple selling a property. They were relocating. And then I found a buyer like on the next block over because he was doing a rehab. So I locked up the deal with the seller in 2 blocks. Hey, you want to buy this property for $5,000 more than I locked it up? He's like, yeah, let's look at it. He went back over there. We looked at the house. He's like, okay, where do we sign? We went to the title company, and that was my first deal.
That easy.
That easy, quick.
And so like watching these videos, like the Flip Man, myself, and then other people that you found, what gave you the confidence? Because there's a lot of people that watch and never take action. What gave you the confidence to kind of take action?
That's a really good question because I see the people come in and not take any action, and I was like, what was it that made me think I could do that? And for me, it's like I didn't have anything to lose.
Why not?
Why not? What's the worst that can happen?
A no.
That's it. So it's like, I'm going to go make some offers. I didn't even know what I was going to do with the deal. I didn't know if I was going to have to cancel.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. I'm like, okay, what's the worst that can happen here? And it wound up being the first of several hundred deals.
That's dope.
Several hundred wholesale deals later, and here I am.
And it kind of like what I created this program. And I had this saying called "You're one deal away." It really was a saying, right? I was like, yo, when I was doing in 2019, when I was traveling the entire country doing free pop-ups, I was saying, you're only one deal away. And kind of what it means is your definition. You went out, you found something, you made $5,000, right? But it wasn't the money that,
No.
it was the proof of concept that, wait, I've been watching, I've been listening, and this actually works.
Yeah.
Let's go gangbusters now.
Absolutely. And you know what? It was funny because when I first did it, I'm like, oh no, something's wrong. That can't be that easy. Like I felt like I was doing something illegal or something. I'm like, no, they're going to come get me. It can't be that simple that I just walked to a couple of blocks later to a flipper and offered him the paper, and he paid me.
For the paper.
For the paper.
Which was essentially, for people that are like watching, she sold her equitable interest in this contract, and the other guy promised to perform based upon what she wrote. So simply, she told the seller, okay, I'll give you $100,000. And the seller's like, great deal. She found a guy that would give her $5,000 for that same contract to go execute for the $100,000. Essentially creating a $5,000 gap, which went to you for the paper that you created.
Right.
And that guy was happy because now he gets to go out and use his crews, flip this house, and create more value, add more value to that property. Yeah. And then sell it for a profit.
It was a win-win. He did an amazing job. He flipped the house. I even came back, checked out the work. New family moved in. They loved it. So it was like a win-win for everybody. People moved on, did what they had to do, and I made $5,000.
So at what point did you start to think, okay, this is not a fluke. Let me try it. I can do this again. And what point did you say, this is real? Because the first deal was like concept. When did you say this is real?
Probably after my 5th or 6th deal. It's like, okay, this could be a business.
Okay, here we go.
This is like, I could actually do this for a living, not for just some extra money. I was still working for the first year. So I worked and did wholesaling for the first year. And I waited till I had about maybe $10,000 in the bank. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do, and I was working part-time, a couple hours an evening. So I'm like, all right, I'm going full-time with this. Because if I could do, and I was making maybe $10,000 a month, if I could do $10,000 a month working part-time, then full-time, it's got to be much, much better. So I took the plunge, went full-time, and it wasn't all rainbows and cupcakes. I ran into a lot of problems. Deals I locked up, I couldn't sell, title issues, all the issues that a business would face.
That people don't really talk about. So in the wholesaling world, half of the battle is getting a property, finding a property that's worth, buying, and then putting it under contract, and then taking it to the title company only to find out that it's 5 siblings, there's a federal tax lien, all types of things, which either delays or nullifies the buy altogether. Right. And here you are counting on this money because you spent money on marketing or lists and skip tracing and your effort. And now you got something coming out of the pipeline, only found it 5 days later. The lawyer's like, this is real messy. Right? That's the real part of it.
That happened, but I figured out that it was a numbers game at the end of the day. So I was going to have deals that fell through. I just needed to make sure that I had a pipeline and I baked in those deals, so a percentage of my deals falling through. And if I can do that, then I knew that, okay, this can still be a very viable business model. You know, you're going to have some waste like every business has.
Yeah.
And you just calculate how much of your waste would be and then fill your pipeline is to mitigate that.
So with doing that and you starting to grow, when did you realize, I mean, I know you said, hey, this could be a business, but when did you realize it actually was a business? Like what moment?
The moment where I made $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. That was the point where I'm like, oh yeah, this is not just a nice business for me. This can actually be a big business, because I think it was 2016 or something. I was doing my taxes and I'm like, oh wait, I made 6 figures this year. And the really funny thing about that is that I was not all in.
Didn't feel like it.
I was playing halfway. I wasn't like putting forth all of my energy. I was just kind of like, let's do some deals and throw some marketing. I wasn't doing it to the level that I knew in my head it could be done.
Yeah.
So for me to make 6 figures, and I felt like I still had so much more to do, so much things to implement, so much more marketing ideas I haven't even tested yet. I was like, oh yeah, this could be something that could be 7 figures or beyond. That's the moment I realized it, that first 6-figure year.
When you were growing to the first 6-figure year, when did you start documenting your process, right? Like how you were skip tracing, where you were pulling your list from, because that I'm guessing that has to do something with your background, or because that's not a natural thing to be like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing this.
I'm an analytical person.
Okay.
So for me, it came like natural. This is the normal thing to do, but I didn't do it from the beginning. I kind of just halfway just like made a note of things. It wasn't until maybe about 5 years ago that I started to say, wait, what I'm doing is the same things over and over and over and over again. I'm not reinventing the wheel every deal. So there's a method to the madness, because for me, all I saw was madness. I'm just duct taping this together, like I'm running here, like I felt like I was the magic. I'm keeping this together. I'm doing the stuff, but at the end of the day, when I looked at it macro, I'm like, it's just the same things over and over again. The people change, the faces change, the numbers change, but it's the same thing. So I started to write everything down. Okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. Then I was like, okay, let me see if I could teach someone else to do it. Mm-hmm. So I started to play around with that idea. Okay, you come here and do this, follow these steps. And they were able to pull it off for the most part, you know? So I was like, oh, okay, so if I could do that here, maybe I can do that here. So I started to take the most mundane, simple tasks and try to document it, get someone, replace myself with that, and then kind of slowly but surely worked up to like the more advanced tasks.
Yeah.
You know?
Doing the more complex things that do have a variable in it.
Yes.
That you need to have some critical thinking to be able to make that decision.
Exactly.
So what was the concept to you of having a virtual assistant? Was it new in this career, in this new venture, or was it something you've done in the past?
No, it was completely new.
Okay.
Wholesaling was my first business.
Okay.
I didn't have any business experience coming into it.
So what was that like though? Like thinking that, okay, I'm going to hire somebody halfway across the world to help operate my business. Did you, I'm assuming because you're a woman, you probably came into it in a more detailed perspective than us guys do, but what was that like hiring somebody and then having to take that time and.
Right. So I read 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss, very popular book. Mm-hmm. That book said, oh, okay, you can hire a virtual assistant to do admin stuff. You know, his version of it is very out of touch, you know. Yeah. Be on the beach with the business, you know.
But you got the story.
But I got the story. I got the hook. So I'm like, okay, let me try this out. And I had them do at first building email lists overnight. Mm-hmm. So they were in the Philippines, so their mornings were my days, vice versa. So I'm like, okay, they can do this while I sleep. And I used to stay up at night. I was working, so I used to stay up from after work for like 2 hours and meticulously put together my email. And I would literally fall asleep at the computer every night. I
know.
And I did this for like 2 years straight. And then I got the assistant. I trained the assistant, told them what to do. And then they just did it. And I was like, wait, you mean I've been sitting here like losing sleep for 2 years? And I was paying them like $3-4 an hour. I'm like, it cost me like $100 a week. I was like, I'm stupid. Why didn't I do this sooner? You know what I mean? So that was the seed where like, okay, this works and it's totally viable. It's a great opportunity for them and it's a great thing for me too. So it's not like they're doing this begrudgingly or, you know.
And I think that's a big misconception, right? Because most Americans, only 36% of Americans have a passport. So they've never really traveled to other countries and realized the minimum wage or the wage or a livable wage in other countries.
Yes.
And, you know, I've had virtual assistants and employees for 7 years now. And I can tell you the wage that I pay for some very intelligent people is more than above and beyond livable wage for them in their country.
Absolutely.
And so their gas prices are different, their housing prices are different, their healthcare prices are different. You got to understand that America is the creme de la creme when it comes to pricing things, right? So don't compare your wage, and even in America, our minimum wage is still, I think, $7.25 an hour, or somewhere in like, at least in North Carolina, it's like, I don't know, $6-7. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when you're paying somebody $5 an hour that lives in a country where you can get an entire dinner meal for $2,
yeah,
right?
It's hard to wrap your head around at first, because you know I travel too to considerably third world countries,
developing countries, yeah.
You know what I mean? And people there are working for $2 an hour.
That's good work.
Right. So you as an American offer $3-4. That's a come up for them.
And they working at home. They
don't have to go travel, and transportation in some of these countries is not good.
Yeah, it's not efficient.
It's not efficient. Yeah. It's expensive. So they can stay home, they can work for you, and they can make this type of money. It's a come up. So you're really doing them a huge favor, and they're so thankful for the work. You know, if you find, you know,
and it shows in their work ethic.
And it shows. It shows for sure. So I knew from then that it was something that I could explore. But I just recently started to exploit it even more with transfer it over from from the administrative to the more complex work.
And you're paying a little bit more for the complex person that has a critical thinking skills that can be a manager.
Right.
And tell me like, all right, so you fired yourself from admin position and then it started to grow.
Yeah.
You got what would you say, like internally, not for everything you do, but internally for your wholesaling business, how many people you roughly got now that work with you?
I got about 20 people, mostly VAs, all different parts of the country. And then I have, some in-house people, but majority is VAs now, for sure.
And they handle, and out of A to Z from a deal, right? From A to Z, from start to finish, right? How much of that are they helping you with or managing themselves?
About 80%. 80% of the deal is them.
And you train that.
I train them.
And so this is where you and I, this is where we connected, right? And so we get on Zoom, we talk, and then you said, well, let me show you some of my system and process. I was like, cool. I said, I got some too. You showed me, you broke out I said, what? So I forgot how many videos you had. How many videos did you have?
Like about 35 videos.
There was videos.
Videos? I have 1,000 videos.
Yeah, there was 35
courses.
Courses are all internal for everybody you hire. So for every task, for every job title, for every description, there is a video series for their job that you have built over the last 5 years. And you said, well, every time I have a new thing, I go and create a new video so that they all have the process. So when I hire somebody, they go through these working things and then.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away because it was like 1,000 videos, 35 different positions or titles or operations that was just ready to go. So out of the bucket. And I said, this is so valuable. That's why I told you, I said, what you've created was so valuable. I said, where did you have the inclination to even want to create this? And I just thought it was so amazing. Now, let me ask you a question, because I've been doing this and have been on the public stage for the last 7 years doing this. I always get this question. One, Max, why don't you have more women guests? Two, Max, why don't you have more black women guests? So that brings me to a question to you. You know, when you were doing your research and when you were coming up and when you're still doing stuff now, was it discouraging not to see that many women involved? And then was it even more discouraging to not see that many black women running companies?
It wasn't discouraging, believe it or not.
Okay.
It was it was encouraging.
Okay. I like that.
You know what I mean? So first of all, that's true. I didn't see many women or black women unless they were behind the husband,
yeah.
right? Or they were the help, or they were the administrative piece. And that was all, I saw that, a lot of that. But in the front, I think it's because, number one, the information is not as plentiful in our community. You know, now that we've got you, it's getting better, right? But then again, it's just access. I think it's just access. You know, when we see somebody doing something and you're like, okay, he can do that because he's a man, but when I look at someone doing something, I'm like, okay, I can do that too. And quite honestly, I think women have a lot more finesse, and you probably know this 100%.
Any industry I've ever been in, the top 5% are majority women.
Yeah.
And then from when I was a real estate agent, brokerage, to when I had a bail bonding practice, company, to you name it. When I was in the restaurant industry, the top 5% were majority women. Right. In any industry.
Right. And I don't think it's because we can. It's just because enough of us aren't stepping out to do it. You know, there's a lot of black women out there. It's just, I don't know if they're taking enough initiative.
Yeah. Because, you know, I hold conferences, and I used to do a lot more. I'm more laid back these days. But I used to hold more conferences and live events. And like, when are you bringing more black women to the stage? When are you bringing more women to the stage? And I've always enjoyed learning from, you know, other women in this business, because they just look at things different than I do, particularly just from a man's perspective. So I enjoy learning. My friend Christina, I bring her up. She created a process for us in our company, which was brilliant. And then, you know, it's such a male-dominated industry that one of the things that when we got toward getting off the phone, the Zoom call, I said, listen, I'm challenging you, and I'm requesting you, and I want to put pressure on you to create more content so that women can look at you, and women of color can look at you as well and say, I can do the same. Because I feel like I've done that for so many men of color and men in general, but obviously there's always somebody for, you know, men to look up to. But I was able to show men of color that, hey, look at this dude with this beard, and so I can go do this.
He's from the block.
Yeah, he's one of us. And so I don't say that to like alienate everybody, but representation matters.
Absolutely. And I've been to your We Live event. A lot of women there. Correct. In the seats, there are a lot of women. Yeah. You have a lot of women followers. Handsome man. Yeah, and you're talking. You're intelligent. I'm sure it's a good demographic. Probably half or more.
Well, it's a good demographic because, one, I think women of color can kind of relate to my scenario, my situation more, and then I also, you know, as a responsibility, I try to bring other successful women to the stage. One like Crystal Polite and Christina and Rashana, and, you know, a lot of people to the stage because I know that they are who they say they are, and they're a good representation of hustle and work, and that everybody can do this. So I'm kind of hoping that you champion that to and I know there's a women in real estate movement. A lot of them I think are based in North Carolina or around this area. And so that's another good movement. I just want somebody to champion that flag.
It could be more.
Could be a lot more. That's what I want.
More.
I want.
That's what
right.
It could be more.
It could be a lot more. So I challenge you. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying all that just to say that.
I'm up for the challenge. We'll see.
And so now you've got a business
Right.
that you probably spend out of the A to Z. You're involved about 20 to 25% of the operation. A lot of it's automated through processes and systems that you have set up. Mm-hmm. And so now I can now I do consider you the system and processes expert guru that has created that.
Yeah.
And I think that is the missing piece from a lot of people's business, because here's what happens. Most people can be real good at marketing. Mm-hmm. They can be real good at sales. But the equation that always seems to stifle the growth of most businesses is the personnel piece, the people. How do you train the people? How do you create the processes for the people to come in?
How do you make sure they don't mess it up? What you built, what you've done, you know what I mean? That's a problem that I faced. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I've been in this game 10 years. Now I want to start to delegate, but I don't want anyone to come in and just like tear down what I've built up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or come in and do it halfway, or not do it in a certain way. So in business, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, there's a few things we figured out. We figured out how to market, got that down. We figured out how to convert leads, how to dispo, how to close. So I'm like, all right, so I started to play with it a little bit. I'm like, all right, let's start in the top. Start with acquisition, just intaking the lead. Let's create a program for that. Just pretty, when I say program, I'm talking about recording myself doing it with a screen capture. Mm-hmm. Each piece step by step. And then I took those videos and then I put it into a course. Like anyone would take a course on Teachable or something like that, where there's modules, and then you get to the bottom and there's a test to check to make sure you understood what you saw. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to model that and just put everything into a course, and then I'm going to create a test at the end, make sure they understood what they watched. So I tested it with those things. It worked like magic. I mean, I put them in. At the end of the test, did you have any questions? Yes, filled in the blanks. Took that information so that way I can make my course better the next time.
They create better instructional videos.
Right. Whatever question they had. And then they put them in, and then I just offered support. And it worked. You know, they were able to do, you know, as long as I'm able to support them, they're able to do the job. You know, it's simple tasks. Now, I'm not giving them I'm not like throwing them the whole wholesaling process at once. I think that's where people mess up. They bring somebody in and like, I want you to do a lead intake, a convert, close, and make sure it gets to closing. First of all, that's too overwhelming for one person who's just got into real estate yesterday. Like you're gonna have to teach them each part. So you could bring them in and say, okay, you're gonna do acquisitions. Oh no, as a matter of fact, you're gonna just do the intake part. You're gonna do part of the acquisitions. So you teach them like that. Teach them one part. Let them do the one part. Get good at one part. And then if you want to move them on to something else, give them more responsibility, but you can't throw it all on them at once. So I started with acquisitions, set that up, courses for every spot, and it worked. In fact, I was surprised because I had in-house people at the time, and the assistants worked better than, you know, my local people.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I know why that is. I didn't want to admit it at first, but I knew. Number one is because, like you said, they're getting a better pay. Even though it seems cheap to me as an American, to them it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
So they're excited about the position, number one. A local person, especially if you're just starting up your business, you can afford to hire, but you're going to pay a normal wage. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be something super exciting. So the person is going to do the role, but they're not going to have that, you know, like, oh my God, this is life-changing, and I want to get so good at this. I want to figure this out so I can. Americans, or some of them, don't really have that fight in them to figure things out and work their way through a company. We're in a culture now where people are job hopping. you know,
based upon salary.
based upon
at the
salary,
current
they're
time.
moving around. They're not necessarily loyal. I mean, you'll find those that will, and when you do, keep them, right? But I think that was it. They just weren't as excited, so it showed in their work, you know? And then the work ethic piece. Well, let me get started there. The work ethic for the majority of Americans is shot. It's shot.
They're discouraged. They ain't doing it.
It's hard for them to focus sometimes. And I would just say, and them, us. It's hard for us to focus sometimes on something for a long period of time.
I think part of the problem is that
Social media.
I mean that's definitely reduced our attention span.
Our attention span is shot.
But I think part of it is some of them want to get paid for attendance and not results.
Yeah.
Because when you work in a business, the only thing that a business can get paid for is the result, right? So if somebody's paying you, let's just keep the numbers simple. If somebody's paying you $10 an hour, you need to be valued at somewhere around $30 an hour. And I know this probably doesn't make a sense to a lot of people, but
Right.
$10 an hour is what goes to you. Then I have to pay taxes on the money that I give you, right? And then I have to probably provide some type of health care. And then the product still has to make a profit, right? So that I can continue to provide the infrastructure for whatever goes on, the softwares, the applications, the building, the lights, like all these things that go into equation of why I need a $10 an hour employee to generate $30 an hour.
Right.
And if you come in and you only want to be paid for attendance, my customers don't pay me for trying. They pay me for the finished product.
Right.
Right. And so that's why I think a lot of people, there's this middle thing. And so people that, not saying that the equation of working hard, but proving your worth in a company allows you to demand more pay from that company. Not because you're time and grade, not because you got a perfect attendance. It's your production.
Yeah, the American they've built it up where they think that, okay, after a year I'm supposed to get a raise. The seniority, they give value to seniority, where the value is in the value you bring.
The value's in the
I'll
value.
give you a raise 6 days in if you're worth it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, why? Because you've been here a year, we feel like we should get a raise? You should be trying to show the value.
It makes me fire people quicker.
Right. Are you more valuable to 1 year later than you are now? And that's the question.
Should be.
You should be.
And that's when you ask for a raise.
Right.
Or 6 months in, or whenever it is, but you got to do that. So what are the maybe top 2 or 3 mistakes that you see new wholesalers or people that have a company, because a lot of the world's going remote now. What are some of the top 2 or 3 things that you see that they do wrong when they're starting out or trying to get a virtual assistant or try to create system and processes?
Well, if they're wanting to grow, usually the first thing they do is increase marketing. Okay, if I'm getting 10 deals, if I'm getting, let's say 3 deals a month, I want to go to 6, then I need to do double the marketing. But what they forget is that you now need the capacity. You need to build the capacity to handle double the marketing. So if you double the marketing, you still got the same amount of people here, can they process that many leads? And the answer usually is no. So there's going to be a diminishing return.
Yeah.
So they think that when that happens, they think that, oh, okay, I need a new list. These leads are not as good as the first set, and that's a mistake. More often than not, they probably just don't have the capacity to funnel all of the leads, and now they're cherry picking and they're leaving a lot of money on the table. So I think that's one mistake. When it comes to hiring virtual assistants, the second mistake they make is that they treat them like a widget.
Which is terrible.
Yeah, like an app. I'm going to hire this virtual assistant. I'm going to just send them an email of what I want to get done, and then hopefully they do it and it's fine. And you have to treat a virtual assistant like you would treat any other hire that walks in your door. The fact that, there's might be oceans away from you is just, it's just
irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. You know what I mean? So you have to treat them like people at the end of the day. You need to train them, and not just train them, but check in on them, greet them, have them give you progress reports.
Create a team atmosphere.
Create a team. Give them bonuses when they do well. Pat them on the back. I mean, I've talked to so many VAs at this point, probably about 100 I've interviewed, and their common gripe with working for American companies, especially real estate companies, is like they get treated like, you know,
A widget.
You know. I only hear from him when there's a problem.
No team.
No team. I feel like I'm just getting up and working every day. I'm doing the work, but I don't feel like I'm a part of anything. I don't know.
Maybe the money is not even worth it for them at some point.
They're not giving their best. They're not giving their personal best because they don't know what happens. So when I hire a VA into my team, I not just give them the task, I show them what their role means to the big picture. You know, I want you to talk to people and qualify leads, because when we qualify leads, investors get to buy properties to, you know, build their wealth, and we make money and I get to pay you and everyone's happy. And when you do your job well, then it goes over to the next team and they get to, you know, so they see everything as it happens.
Yeah.
When we close deals, I let all my VAs know, hey, we just closed a deal, you know, and they may be in a different country, but they get a little notification and they're like, oh, I remember that deal. I helped with that deal or whatever. So they feel a part of something.
Very small but important things.
Very small but important, you know. So that's number 2. And then I think number 3 is improper, you know, no training and no onboarding, nothing. Just here. And
here goes an email.
Here goes an email.
My dialer.
Let me know if you have any trouble. And that's it, you know, and it's very vague and very surface level. You don't show them particularly, you don't explain the what with the why, and then they're just hoping that they get it right. And VAs want to do a great job.
It's in their culture too.
It's in their culture too. So they may be afraid to ask you questions. I didn't understand that, but let me try to figure it out anyway. Then they mess up, and now you're like, oh, this VA sucks. Let me get another one.
Which you completely disrupt their lives when you do that.
Exactly. You know, they have family to feed. They have things going on too. You can't just fire them with no warning, nothing.
No chance to read. You know,
no chance to,
especially when you didn't
themselves.
train them.
Right, and it was your fault. You know, so I mean, I did it wrong. I didn't always start doing it the way I'm doing it now. I started kind of messing it up a little bit, and then I was like, okay, what did I do wrong here? And then I just got better and better.
With these system and processes that you created over the last 5 years, would you be willing to like share these with people that are ready for them?
Absolutely. Okay. If they're ready for them.
That because I would say that's a big thing. So I think what you should do is you should probably create some type of offer or value to somebody that will see the value in what it is, because
absolutely,
I can tell you right now, what you have is essentially a growth strategy in a box.
It's an operating system.
Correct.
You know, my goal is to hopefully one day be able to take what I've built in South Florida and duplicate it in a totally different market.
And you're in a tough market.
And I'm in a tough market. So if I can, I have all the systems for every role. I have the KPIs. I have the dashboard, everything. So it's just a matter of finding the people, which I know how to source VAs very well. Yeah. There's only a few roles in real estate that I think I actually need someone physically there for, which is to see the property. Yeah. And that's it, you know. But yeah, I mean, if someone is ready for it, they could, you know, book a call. Which camera are you using? This camera?
This is your camera. Oh, this is me camera?
So they could book a call with me.
Okay.
Let's talk. Let's see what you got going on.
How would they find you though? Like how they through Instagram? Are you gonna give them your number?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I got a website, michelledmurray.com. I just put that up the other day. Book a call, send a message, something. You can get in contact with
Michelle
me.
D. Murray. We'll put it in the notes as well too.
Yeah.
No, because I think this part of the business is not the flashy, it's not the sexy side. It's the side that you need to actually grow a business.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, I can teach you sales. Hey, I can show you how to wholesale real estate. All right, there's a million people doing those things, right? Well, less people doing sales, more people showing you about real estate that's never done a deal. But to actually be like, yo, this is what you need to grow your business. If you want to learn how to wholesale, don't come see me. But if you want to learn how to grow your business, come holler at me.
And you know, it's so sad because I see so many great visionaries smoke out, like, because they know how to get the business in the door, but their processes and their systems is not there. They don't have, like, they can get you in, and then you kind of like, okay, hopefully we can get you the end result that I promised you in the beginning, because it's a lack of business and, systems and process.
Yeah.
You know, and if they had that other piece, oh my God.
Then they can rock and roll because they can focus to work on, because what this allowed you to do is fire yourself from so many positions so that you can work on the business and not in the business, right? So you can do better. You can focus on what marketing tactics work the best. You can go to conferences and figure out what's the best software for this or what's this for that. You can spend more time figuring out how to grow or how to reach more customers and not worry about, did this contract get executed, or did
the
this
title company get it? Did the seller get a call? Is anybody checking in with the buyer to make sure? Like, those are the things that it takes to get the deal to the finish line, and you need them. They're just as important as getting the leads through the door.
It's more important, in my opinion.
Right.
It's more important because there's a lot of I'm going to tell you why it's more important. I have seen wholesalers get deals, take it to the 50-yard line, and don't know how to communicate with the seller or the buyer or the title company, right? And the deal gets dropped. Then I get the emotionally abused, distressed seller again, and we'll buy the deal probably for even less, right? But the transaction is so much smoother for the buyer, for the seller, for the attorney, that they walk away and say, this company really is a smooth person to work with, which is what you need.
Yeah, you need both pieces. You cannot, bring the business in and then can't take care of the business properly, so they get to where you told them you were taking them. And so many people are missing that piece because the visionaries are the ones we see on social media. They're pushing the this or the that, and they're asking for the this and that. Come in here, I can do this and that. But behind all of that, behind the scenes, is someone like someone like myself that has to sit there and meticulously build out the systems and the processes to make sure they can deliver on what you said you were going to do. And if that's absent,
it's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's a shell.
Basically. It's a tragedy. I think that's the big tragedy of business,
Yeah.
But I found out that people who can do processes and systems well are the minority in the business world. There's more visionaries than there are, what they call it, there's a word. Executors or they have a word for it. I forgot the word.
I'm not smart enough.
Yeah. Integrators.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's more visionaries than there are integrators by far.
Yeah, and 100%, and that's why the best COOs, the chief operating officers, and the top line managers get traded amongst the top countries in the world, because those people actually can integrate the thought of the CEO. CEO is just a face.
Yeah.
Right? They have the vision, they oversee, but the people, if you go look and lift up the curtain of some of these more successful companies, like, all right, everybody wants to praise Elon. But we know Elon is at this game. He's flying here. Who's behind Elon?
Right.
Who's behind these very successful people, the integrators?
Yeah.
And that's the pulse. That's the heart of a business. It's the pulse, somebody that can integrate the thoughts and the vision of the CEO or the owner or the founder. And that's why sometimes it's better to step down from those positions, because you need to know, you need to have a self-evaluation, really understand what you're good at, what you're not good at. I mean, anytime somebody comes to me and says, I want to grow my business, I say, okay, cool. Let's look at what you currently have.
Right.
And typically I can find leads and system and processes in their current leads where they're just they left money behind on. You don't even need to spend another dime on marketing. Make this more efficient.
Right.
And you'll be able to squeeze more money out of what you already have coming in the door. Yes. So just like you said, eventually you're going to have to double your marketing budget. But make sure your foundation is correct. Lead generation is easy.
Yeah.
It's a money game. It's writing a check. It's writing a check. but squeezing the most out of what comes through your door is how you become. That's the difference between you being at 30% margin and 50% margin.
But see, the problem is that's too hard.
Not everybody's an integrator.
It's hard for someone to do that because, look, if I want to grow, let me just write the check and double the leads and then hope that I get double the revenue. What happens is they write the check and then they don't get double the revenue. And they say that I've hit a ceiling of diminishing returns. No.
Too competitive.
No, too competitive. I need another market. No. Your process, that stuff that happens in the middle is broken.
Trash.
Or non-existent.
Correct.
So you're trying to throw gasoline on something where, you don't have enough wood, you don't have enough capacity, you don't have process, you don't have a step 1, step 2, step 3, what are you putting your leads through? Is it the same every time, or are you guys making it up as you go?
Making it up as they go?
Yeah. So you can't scale that. That's chaos. You can't scale chaos.
Not for so long.
No, only to a certain point.
Yeah.
You'll hit a wall, and then you'll make up something as to why it is. It's not that. It's system and processes. So, like, people that are ready for system and processes, like real scalable, where they can confidently write that check. I'm not saying don't write the check. I'm just saying do this first, then write the check. It could be like fire, like it'll blow up. It'll just blow up on them, because that's what happened to me. Before COVID, like 2019, I was running what I considered a smooth operation. We were making a couple $100,000 a year. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then after COVID, almost all of my in-house people left. They did other stuff.
They was getting checks.
Yeah, so they were getting they're getting checks, that free money. And I had to reinvent the whole process. I had to okay, I'm gonna have to just reinvent. I just broke everything down and reinvented the whole acquisition process, whole dispo process. And in doing that, I discovered that my conversion cycle was trash. It was trash. I went into my CRM and I saw deals that were like good deals, just like you said, just left there to die.
That somebody else scooped up.
Yeah, someone else scooped. I'm like, why did we? Well, we didn't have a process in order to catch it. There was no system. They were just going in CRM and cherry picking the easy ones. And it wasn't their fault. That's what anyone would do if they have a lot. You give somebody too much on their plate, they're not going to eat the whole plate. They're just going to be like, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So that's what was happening. So I was like, okay, I can't spend any more money on marketing. So I need to make my system more efficient. So I just started doing just that. And that's when I started going really ham on the systems and processes. And what happened was I was able to triple my revenue.
Just from fixing your system and processes.
Just from fixing my damn systems and processes. And it was crazy to me because I'm like, I already had it. I just didn't have so that's how important it was to me. It meant the difference. I tripled my revenue.
And anytime you're fixing something like that, you're going to go down before you go back up.
Yes.
That's the part you need to tell them too.
Yes.
So as you're breaking things down, there's going to be a moment of maybe some crickets.
Yes. And that's the part that I think also is why people just lean over to let me just write a bigger check, because they understand that, yeah, I need the systems and processes stuff, but ain't nobody got time for that. I got to break it down before I can rebuild it, because it's already a mess. So yeah, you have to slow down to speed up. You may have to take a step back to take 3 steps forward. So most people, if they're going to do this, because they should, and it's worth it, they should understand that in the beginning, as you're doing the revamping, there's going to be a little bit of crickets, but it's worth it. Tenfold is worth it, because you can make up for like a 1 or 2 or 3. You can make that up in a month with potentially what you can gain from having it. And then when you have, the great thing I like about systems and processes, if you can't tell, I'm very passionate about this.
I know that.
Is that when you have it, it's set. If you do it right and you take it real far, you can then walk away from it.
That's the whole goal.
You could turn your back and walk away from it, and it continues to run faithfully for you, as long as you put certain checks and balances in place to make sure that you at least can have some control.
I took you to my office today and I showed you, I said, yeah. And then we walked in and the front desk guy was like, oh man, good to see you.
Yeah.
I was like, Michelle, I don't come here probably once every 2 weeks. And it's because we've been able to figure out an operation to the capacity that we want, that I'm hands off.
And that's a beautiful
That's
thing.
what we should all be working towards. I'm not egotistical to tell you that I am here doing 500 deals a month and blah, blah, blah. No. We run at the capacity that we want to run at, and I am involved as less as possible because I want to own a business,
Yes.
not run a business.
Less is more.
Right? So I can go out and take the skills. And my main thing is I've learned a lot of skills in the last 7 years as a deal negotiator, as a wholesaler, as a real estate investor, as an entrepreneur, as a manager, as an employer. I've learned all of these skills within the realm of wholesaling real estate and grown this operation to where we're doing development deals. Those skills are sometimes more valuable somewhere else in
They're
a different.
transferable.
Yeah, they're transferable into a different career, a different thing, or different, whether it's software as a service, whether it's a e-com based business, whatever it is could be worth more elsewhere. So let me put this on autopilot, which took a long time because I was very stubborn with the things you're talking about. And then let me go explore, because I can go probably come over here and do like $100 million in 5 years.
Yeah. Those and that's the part that most people it's hard. Before you did that, before it got fun, it probably got a little crazy. Like it was
It's a lot of ups and downs.
It was ugly before it was beautiful.
Yeah, very ugly. Very ugly. Very ugly.
So that part I think is where we get in our own way, in our own head, and be like, well, it might not be worth it. Let me just stick to what I know. But like you said, the skills, you can use those same skills somewhere else, but you have to be able to turn your back and know it won't crumble behind you. And that's where you need to have something there, and you not just need a system with all your roles, you need a management layer on top of that, something to where, it still is consistent. It can still bring you money to fund your trips or your exploring, your fun part. That's when entrepreneurship gets real fun.
Right. Having a business that generates money, that you can set money aside to then use your money and your skills to pounce on any opportunity that presents itself is the true thing of real estate, right? Like, I'm really not that smart. I've just been able to put some money aside. I've learned from my bumps and bruises. And when an opportunity comes that requires $500,000 or whatever it is, I could jump on it and quadruple that in a moment's time, just because of all the skills that I've had from the past and then having that money available.
The rich get richer. That's how the rich get richer. They spend a certain amount of time in a certain business. They build it up to where they can take that money and then play real life Monopoly. Let me buy 2 red houses, 1 green house. And, You know what I mean?
Next thing you know, we
and
got
then
a
they
hotel.
just go somewhere and they come back and because I think real estate is the easiest play, but you have to have the money. And if you have the money, you have so many options. You could buy businesses.
It's the easiest play because everybody understands it across the world.
Yeah.
We all know we need housing. We all know we need commercial spots for whatever. We all know that. So you don't have to explain that across the board every time you create a new this or that. But I that's why I love real estate. I love what it's taught me. I love what it's done.
It's a beautiful thing. I love it.
So, Michelle, I have a question for you. So imagine where you are sitting is the world stage. And everybody in that camera is the entire world. And you have 1 minute to talk to the entire world. What would you say?
Well, entire world. Why you do this to me, Max?
Because I think it's important. I think it's important. No, don't think about it. You got to keep going. Keep going.
No. All right. So, look. Find something you love and build it. Build it and make it duplicatable, predictable, and consistent. And then have that fund your ideal lifestyle. Because I feel like we don't all get into business to run a business. I think business is a means to an end. So we need to find out what that end is and then work our ass off, and then we get there. And then it builds upon itself. Like when you get into one business, like then all of a sudden, like all these opportunities, all these doors open for you that is just like one door leads to another, to another, to another, to another. So I think taking care of that first business is key. If you can just fight through it and get that first business up, then everything else will get easier.
That makes total sense. It's a good message because I talk about that you typically need about a good 5 solid years of a hustle on something that can really generate you some money to be able to set up the rest of your life.
Yes.
That's all you need.
Yes.
So this whole work 30 years and work 25 years, it's not the truth.
No, that's a lie they sold us.
And I'm not saying you got to go out there and make $50 million.
No.
I'm saying you got to find something that produces a lot of money within the first 5 years, gain financial education, and then make it work for you.
And you got to stick to something long enough.
There you go.
Because I think that's what our problem. That one thing, you got to stick to it. You got to see it through all the crap that happens. You got to fight through all of that. And then you get to the other side. And it could take 5 years, solid 5 years of just having your head down.
Yeah.
And just having blinders on. And then when you come out on the other side of that, you be like, oh, okay.
It was worth it.
Hell yeah, it was worth it.
Well, look, Michelle, this has been fun.
Yes.
I've enjoyed this. I hope the audience has enjoyed this. I'm personally recommending that people at a certain point need to reach out to you. We're going to put your Instagram handle, your website, and how to contact you to talk to you. Yeah. So be ready for the people, but keep in mind, fellas and ladies and business and entrepreneur people, make sure that you don't reach out to her if you're not ready for that conversation, because she's going to be brutally honest. She's going to tell you what you need and make that happen. So I appreciate you coming all the way out here to jump on the podcast and the show.
Absolutely.
And they're probably gonna be seeing a lot more of you around my page because I really enjoy the conversations we have. I enjoy the content that you put out, and I'm gonna be pressuring you to get more in the forefront to be able to show people that it is possible to do what you're doing.
I'm up for the challenge. I think it's I'm to a place where it's about time, and I feel like I've got something that a lot of people are missing. So however I can help and share it, I think it's going to be received really well, and they're going to see the fruits of it. And I'm excited to see their results.
I love it. So there you have it, guys. This is the Max Maxwell Show. I am your host, Max Maxwell, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you are watching right now on YouTube and you're not a subscriber, do me a favor because it costs you absolutely nothing. Hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, or you like the conversation that I had with Michelle, smash the like button, and don't forget to go follow her on all social platforms. And if you're listening anywhere on Pod World, give me a 5-star rating. It encourages us to keep going. My entire team puts this together so you guys can enjoy some valuable information. And I appreciate you like always, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.